It is April 12th. Welcome to the Penny Pinchers podcast. We have a 12-game slate today, and Dagger and Jimmy J are going to take you through this bad boy. Dagger, how you doing today?
How we doing, Jimmy? Great day. 12-game slate. A lot of picks out here. A lot of plays. This is one of our bigger slates. Probably the biggest one that we've done this year on the pod. So we're gonna have to jump right in early and drop all the information we got.
Oh yes. Any weather news you got?
Yeah, looking quickly, there's a lot of weather today, but how much it'll affect the baseball games is a question mark. Chicago, New York has a small chance of rain. That game's gonna play. A couple other ones in the West Coast and the later starts have a couple TBAs for rain, but other than that, looking pretty good. The only one that's really concerning is Pittsburgh at Washington. That's got a 40% chance of rain, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But other than that, I think we're clear and ready to fire it up.
All right, that sounds good to me, man. I'm looking to crush tonight. Another day, just missed the money by a hair. All came down to just. Actually, no, dude. The Rockies actually screwed me. I thought they were going to eat Samardzija up, and
The Shark.
really unfortunate. Well, then, you want to jump right on into pitchers?
Ready to go. Washington looks to have some thunderstorms throughout the night, so that could be something we have to look at going forward.
Yeah, I mean, my weather's saying. Swing Analytics is saying the Yanks game's going to play. My app's saying there's no way they play. So it's just something to be curious about as it approaches. Obviously, weather will be more accurate within the hour if you check back at like 6 o'clock.
Correct.
But yeah, let me get my pitchers going. Starting right off at the top, you gotta like them against a team that isn't scoring a lot of runs. Only the top of their lineup gets anything done. If you get through that, you're good. But Carlos Carrasco at 11,000, he's pretty steep price for today's slate. I mean, pitcher is not strong this year. It is tough to hit your pitchers. You almost just gotta hope your dude has a great game. Because we've seen some just crazy, like, how did this guy have 8 Ks versus this guy and only 1 K versus this trash team? It's been unreal this year trying to pick pitchers. I also like Arrieta, even though he's another one. You just never know who's going to strike out. But he is in Miami. Miami is just playing absolutely god-awful. Like, they just do not care. But Arrieta is 8,800. That park's going to help him out with just how big it is. I'm really big on Thornton from the Blue Jays. Tampa Bay Rays are a really good team, but they're doing it with their pitching. So regardless, I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. If Thornton keeps going out and eating, I think he's a great play at 7,800. There's a couple other guys, but the other guy that I really don't mind, the only problem is his walks and his pitch count, and that's Keller against Cleveland. Cleveland's been hitting the ball a little bit better, but for 7,100 and just the way I said pitchers are going this year, it doesn't hurt to take a shot on him for 7,100. Dagger, what you got for me on pitchers?
Yeah, starting at the top, I kind of like Chris Paddock from San Diego. He's got 2 career starts. He made the team on opening day. Had a little bit of trouble with walks his last time out. He had 4, but he made it to 90 pitches. So every start, he's ramped up his pitch count. Arizona's a very hit or miss team. So at 9,700, he's probably the guy I would pay up on if I was going to. Scrolling down pretty quick, Julio Urias is never a bad choice if he's locked in at home. There's a good chance he dominates Milwaukee, who's been on the road for a few days now. At 8,700, that's pretty good value. He can give you almost 10 strikeouts if he gets cruising. As we come down the list here, I like this kid Thornton, but I'm having a hard time betting against Tampa Bay. They've been pretty hot as a team between Pham and Meadows and some of the younger guys there. So I don't think I'm all in on Thornton today because I think I can spend down a little bit more and get a guy like Kyle Wright or Sandy Alcantara. Wright had a decent start his last time out. He can't put fantasy points up. He hasn't got the strikeouts, but he's a high-touted prospect in Atlanta's system. They're going to keep throwing him out there. And Alcantara was a trade piece for, I think it was Christian Yelich. And he had a great start in opening day, or his first outing against Colorado. He had 31 in 8 innings. And Atlanta beat him up pretty good, but he didn't strike anyone out and walk 5 guys. So if he can turn it around at home, he's going to provide some good value against a Philly team that got shut down by Jeremy Hellickson the other night. And scrolling down the bottom, one guy that I'm pretty sure I'm going to take a shot on tonight is Chad Bettis. Really, really good stuff. just hasn't been able to put it together. He had 4 perfect innings against the Rays with like 6 Ks, 4 Ks, and then the Rays blew him up in the 5th, and he lost all his fantasy value. And then he went home to play LA on Sunday Night Baseball, and they just ambushed him. So terrible start to the season for him, but San Francisco's a lineup he could bounce back on. They don't seem to be able to score runs. So, lastly, do you have any interest in David Hess against the Red Sox?
No, I mean the Red Sox bats, you never know. I think they're starting to heat up. I hate picking. I mean, I'll pick against Boston on the right day, but I hate picking against Boston in Boston. Hess, when you look at it, who he had his great game, it was against Toronto, who's just terrible. Everyone else, he's kind of done bad. So, I mean, if you want to take the shot for 46, I took the shot last time for 40, or like 5. He was 4,800. He only gave me 3 points against the Yankees, and he actually he didn't do terrible, but he wasn't striking out anybody in a very strikeable lineup.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you brought up Alcantara because I'm definitely all in on him. But if he was against anyone but the Phillies, I think I'd give him a shot. Philly just got embarrassed. I think they're going to come out just absolutely swinging. I think they're going to mess him up. But again, this is the kind of guy that's going to put up like 30 and just mess up the slate.
Miami's a bigger ballpark. He's at home. His first start at home was very, very good against a Colorado lineup that was stagnant when they were on their Florida trip to start the year. But this kid's got a big arm, and I really like when teams or pitchers, when they face a team for the first time, they either get imploded or really shut them down. So he's a fair salary at 7,300, and today with so many stackable pitchers that you could plug him in there. That's why I went that way.
No, I'm about it. I'm trying to think of how much Philly strikes out real quick. I mean, if they're a team that strikes out, I mean, yeah, Phillies, man, they're kind of middle of the pack.
Yeah, no, I think it's got to be a stack play. Like you needed to spend down and stack up, and he's a guy that
can pitcher. Yeah, it's the only way you can like even remotely try to build studs.
But Miami's young, and they're going to keep playing the young guys, so we have a good chance to take advantage of that.
Absolutely, that's the only reason I would do like Arrieta, but it's just tough. Like there's days he just pitches contact, and he's actually really good about he does not care about strikeouts at all.
Yep. Before we move
catcher,
I'm ready to go to catcher, but one more thing I want to mention: Wade Miley. I hate doing it. He's playing Seattle, the best team in baseball, but for some reason he's actually pitched well. Not fantasy well, but
yeah, I know.
He's one of those guys on the slate where everyone pays down for pitching and he just gets you 20 and somebody wins a tournament. So Wade Miley's a name that we could throw out there. But yeah, I'm good to move on.
Word, yeah. No, people might not take a good chance on Miley just because of it being Seattle, but I like what you're thinking. Going with catcher. Again, catcher's tough. We like to spend down. I don't know if Gary's going to play today. If not, you can always look at Romine. But this dude Fegley from Oakland just keeps going out and just smacking the ball. He's playing in Arlington. The ball flies in Texas. Fegley for 3,900 ain't bad. Wilson Ramos for 3,800. We love Ramos. We always be going with Ramos. I also like Chirinos for 3,600. And Tyler Flowers at 3,500. I think he's got a decent track record versus Wheeler.
3 for 6. Sorry, with a homer.
With a homer, yeah. I'm about it. He's never struck out against them. Zach Wheeler's kind of trash against the Braves, so that's another one I really like. Those are my only 4 catchers I'm really into today. Dagger, what are you looking at?
Yeah, looking through quick, I'm going to have a lot of first-time matchups. I want to start by mentioning that James McCann is 3,100, and he's 5 for 15 against Happ. So very, very good value there at 3,100. Hits usually in the middle of a Sox lineup. That isn't the greatest, but if he jumps a yard on Happ in Yankee Stadium, that's huge point for catcher. Scrolling down quick, I like Francisco Mejia, the rookie catcher from San Diego, but he's just, if he plays every day, that would be better for me.
I mean, that just has a pretty good lockdown on that too.
Yep. So he's a switch hitting catcher that if he gets normal innings, he's just going to dominate. That was the Brad Hand trade. Jorge Alfaro is a guy that we go to a lot. He's got Arrieta for the first time in his career tonight at home. So he's 3,500, as is Mejia. Scrolling down quick, if you're looking for value, you might be able to get away with a guy like Wellington Castillo. I know McCann has good numbers against Happ, and Castillo hasn't started well, but He usually hits 4 in Chicago's lineup, and he's 3,200. So maybe a Chicago catcher is the direction I like to go today. And last but not least, this kid Severino, Pedro Severino. He's playing against Erod, and he's 1 for 2 in his career, but he's 3,100, and he hits in a Baltimore lineup that either is gonna score 10 runs or no runs. So between him and Jesus Sacre at 2,800, they're two right-handed hitting catchers against Erod tonight, who has trouble with right-handers. So Sucre is 2 for 5 with a homer in his career. So I think if you go with either a Baltimore catcher or a White Sox catcher, you can get good value by spending down.
Sorry, I was yawning. No, absolutely like that. Like again, we are huge on spending down at catcher. It's kind of a crapshoot with catchers. It all depends on the matchup, and you really never know what you're going to get. Like yesterday, I took Hedges. Hedges had been like 0 for his last, I don't know what. Got lucky, hit a home run. I was feeling good.
Yep. I like one last name before we move on. Yasmani Grandal as well. Switching catcher, facing Urias tonight, 4,100.
First
Not
time
a
facing the new team, I think, or old team, right?
Yep, facing his old team in LA. So he's a guy that offers some pop if you're looking for a home run from the catcher position.
I like it. That's going to take us to another huge position. You ready to go to first base?
Mm-hmm.
All right. First base is probably somewhere I'm spending up today. There's a couple just phenomenal matchups. I'm not even going to talk about Bellinger or Hoskins. They're great matchups against who they're going up against. I'll let you talk about your boy from New York.
Mm-hmm.
Edwin, we're going to start right off, man. Mariners have hit 15 straight games with home runs. Encarnacion is 5 for 14 in his career against Miley.
Keep going, you're good. Sorry.
Yes, I thought something happened.
No, we're good.
5 for 14. I think he's got 2 or 3 homers against him as well. If you want to go, Luke Voigt, it's kind of like, I mean, he's not struggling, but he's not doing great. But when he does, he hits a bomb. And is it Giolito?
Yep, Giolito.
Not the best pitcher. They're in New York. Ball's going to be flying. Again, I am a little worried about weather, but we will see. I do love Freddie Freeman, though. I cannot believe he's only 4,600. He is 10 for 19 against Zach Wheeler, batting 526. I think he's got like 5 or 6 extra base hits against him. Like,
Yep.
You just have to assume that gravy train is going to keep rolling.
Freddie's just a great ball player.
He really is. Hits all fields for power. He is just such a smart player. If you do want to go down on first base, you can never go wrong with Healy in the middle of that Seattle lineup, 4,100, or Profar, man. Profar finally kind of came back down to earth, but I think he's heating up. Profar for 3,900 and put him at first or second base, playing really good ball right now. He's playing in his old ballpark, if you believe in that kind of stuff. Anyone else you like second base?
Yeah, I want to start back at the top. I mean, there's no chance I'm going to fade Pete Alonso today. I think he's one of the best young players in the game, and he continues to prove it night in and night out. He's up to 6 homers and 17 RBIs at a 378 clip. Guys are starting to find out that you can't throw this kid a fastball because he's just driving it to all parts of the field. So Peter Alonso, they're going to have to raise him to almost 6,000 for me to fade him. He's going to be in my lineup tonight until he proves to me that he's going to go cold. As we scroll down quick, I like a couple of the middle of the road guys, Edwin and Vogelback, even though Vogelback's got the lefty. It's going to be hard to bet against Seattle going forward until the streak ends. A huge name I like tonight is he's a little pricey for where I want to be, but Trey Mancini in Boston against Erod. I mean, he's 6 for 20 in his career with a homer, and Mancini's just one of those guys that seems to jump the yard every night or every afternoon we do this podcast. Freddie Freeman is the same price as Mancini, so that's a interesting option you have. But Mancini does have the outfield eligibility as well. Scrolling down, getting to the middle and lower tier, a guy I really like is Eric Hosmer, 3 for 6 against Weaver in his career. But in Arizona, ball flies there, and he could be in a spot today at 3,900 where he can finally really get cruising. The San Diego's been waiting for somebody to get hot between him and Machado and all those other guys, and they haven't yet. 4,100, you got Jose Abreu against J.A. Happ. He's 3 for 10. 3,600, you got Yuli Gurriel. He's now playing third base with the Bregman injury. So he's got Wade LeBlanc. So a couple spend down righty lefty matchups there that you can try to jump on. And lastly, to your point, Profar got hot. He's traveling to Texas. If you're going to play Profar, you're probably going to play him right now because this is probably the time. Other than that, I don't have any interest going forward after today.
It all depends on. Glad you brought up Mancini. I love Mancini. He is playing great baseball on a terrible team. It's just we know how I feel. I mean, if I was going to pick him, I'd pick him against Erod. I just hate picking the Sox, but you got to accept at the point that the Sox pitching is just terrible.
I like his double eligibility. That's why I threw
exactly. Him in. You can move him around. Do you want to move on to second base?
I do.
All right. Second base is another spot. There are some big names with good stats. We're going to start right at the top. I am huge on Altuve today. He's 3 for 7 in his career. Facing against a lefty, Wade LeBlanc. Altuve got off to a really slow start. Now he's back cooking. Steals bases, does it all. He's got that pop back. I really like Altuve. Yeah, no, I like Altuve and the Astros a lot today. There's someone I might try to do a little mini stack for. Who else I have? I have Torres written down just because Giolito I just think is terrible. Again, I'm a little skeptical on weather with the Yanks, but we will see. Because I was also I'm in on Judge too, but we're not there yet. But Torres, he's been doing well. His stats are a little inflated. He had a 40-point night. So scrolling, Whit Merrifield finally lost a streak. Has a really tough matchup against Carrasco, but he is 7 for 17 his career against Carrasco, and Carrasco also gives up a lot of stolen bases. By far the most on the slate. Kansas City's a team that likes to steal. That could be, a sneaky play if you want to stack a couple of these guys at the top of that Royals lineup. They're the only ones that really make anything happen. So if they're hitting, then you're going to be getting points. And the only other person I have hit a tiny little slump. Thought he busted out of it against Colorado, but Albies is only 4,200. Great player, still batting 327. He's facing against a guy that just does not pitch well against the Mets. And with that, is there anybody else you really like?
Second base is a tough position. I think I'm going to have to spend up. And I don't want to. Hernan Perez against Urias. He's a lower 3,600 guy that you might be able to take a shot on. But other than that, when I get to the bottom of the second base position, there's really not much going on. Joe Panic is one guy that maybe you could spend down on. I really like Chad Bettis today, but Panic is 6 for 18 with a homer at 3,400 against Bettis in San Francisco. I guess if you go back to the top, Altuve's homered in 3 straight games. He's really starting to cruise, but he's 4,700. And oddly enough, I've never played this guy, and I don't know much about him except for that he is hitting 333 on the season. Is Chad Pinder? He just had a huge series in Baltimore where he went.
He did.
What is it, like 7 for 12 or something? 7 for 15, and he just crushed. And homers, had a homer, extra base hits. He scored a lot of fantasy points. So maybe he's a guy who's a decent price. 4,400. It's pricey for second, but he had a great series. He's hot right now, and Whit Merrifield, now that the streak's over, he's ready to play baseball again. No more pressure. I mean, he didn't look like he was pressured, but yesterday he was over 6. So I love Whit Merrifield today. I think that's got to be a chalk against Carrasco. The way that lineup is built, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let it flip to Billy Hamilton. So you got about 5 guys in there that can put up a chunk of fantasy points against Carrasco.
No, I like that. Obviously, people are going to be scared of Carrasco, but the Royals they just do the dirty work. That's how they win.
Yep. Yeah, they're fun to watch for sure.
Would you like to move on to third base?
I already did.
That's what I'm talking about. All right, third base. I do not have a lot for third base. A part of that is because obviously Rendon's chalk, but that game's most likely getting rained out. I'm going to start right where I like Matt Chapman for 4,600 in Texas. Righty-lefty matchup. Chapman, he's starting to turn it back around. He had that slow start. Then he just went bonkers on Baltimore that one game. He had a couple 3-hit games. Who else? Like I said, I did not have a lot, but Moncada for 4,500 I really like. Um, Again, I keep forgetting, man. That's like the other game I'm scared is going to get rained out, but still, Moncada he's slowly turning into a star. His strikeouts way down. He's got mad power from both sides of the plate. We can go for a guy like Machado for 4,500, Arenado for 4,500. Another guy that I like that's down here from the Mets is Jeff McNeil for 4,100. I think he's a good player. He's turning around. Still hasn't hit a home run, but he's just doing a little bit of everything. If he was ever due, I think it's today. I think he has a good matchup against Wright. He keeps getting on base, and that's really what matters. I thought he had stolen base potential, but he still hasn't stolen any bases this year. And that's it for that right now. Anybody else like for third base?
Yeah, I want to start back at the top. I really like Matt Chapman today. He started hitting baseballs again. He's moving to Texas. The ball flies there. He's got a matchup with Drew Smiley, who's not very good anymore. Excuse me, at 40, what is he, 46 day? It's a little pricey, but he hits second in a decent Oakland lineup. Manny Machado is a little overpriced for me. Every time I go to pick Machado in a good matchup, 2 for 3 with a homer against Weaver for Machado, he gets the price bump. So I think I'm gonna have to fade Machado because at the same price you can get Arenado against Drew Pomeranz, who's absolutely terrible. So that's a positive if you're gonna spend up. Moving down quick, Rafael Devers is due to go bridge soon this season. He's one of those guys that gets hot as the weather does, but I think in this Red Sox lineup they need to have a huge series against a terrible Baltimore team, and he's 1 for 4 with a homer against Hess. And tonight might be a night that Rafi jumps a yard for you and returns a 4,200 value. And getting to the bottom, you can double eligibility Ryan Healy, never a bad matchup against Wade Miley. But lastly, for some reason I saw this guy and I played him the other night and he was good. And he looks like he's going to get going. That's Eddie Escobar from Arizona. He's really turning it on after like an 085 start. He's up to 220 now, and he hit his first homer. Yeah, first homer of the year last night, and he could get going here. Hit second in the Arizona lineup, and uh, I did like Paddock tonight, and I still do like Paddock. But Eddie Escobar is kind of a guy that you could spend down at 3,700 in return value.
So I was looking back at pictures, just torn on this whole Alcantara thing now.
Yeah, no, he's he's a good player, young, big arm.
There was someone really cheap at third base I wanted to talk about too, and I can't remember who it was. Just scrolling. I wish Matt Duffy would come back. I love Matt Duffy's game.
Yeah, he does a little bit of everything.
Yuli, I hate Yuli. He always screws me. We skipped right over Ketel Marte on second base because I just cannot win with him.
There's not much going on for cheap third.
Yeah, really. I thought there was some, but it might be a different position. You want me to
Eddie
go to
Escobar.
shortstop then?
Eddie Escobar. It's a move.
That is your dog. Yes, shortstop.
Yeah.
Let's do it. I got a lot for shortstop, but it's a great position. Starting right off, two of the three top ones, Torres and Anderson. I'm all about them today. But again, I always say weather's going to get in the way, and half the time it doesn't get in the way. But that one's looking pretty bad. I'm saying double check that one. Mondesi versus Carrasco. If he gets on base, he's stealing. There's no way he doesn't get at least a bag today. That's 5 points on top of however else he got on. Really like Trevor Story against Pomeranz. Pomeranz is like deciding to like pitch good again, kind of. So you never know. He's not getting strikeouts, but he's keeping you off the board. I really like Correa in Seattle today. I think that could turn into a slugfest. Dansby Swanson's been playing just absolutely phenomenal, and he's only 4,200. I know you hate Tim Beckham, but Beckham, dude, he's a good little ball player. He's turning around. Simeon for 4,200, another solid play. He's got some pop. That Oakland lineup's just looking great. I know I had one more. Freddie Galvis for Toronto, man. I don't get it. He's just like the ageless wonder.
That was my sleep. But go ahead.
Like He's just getting it done. He just keeps swinging the bat great. He's batting at the top of that order. He's one of the few making things happen. I do hate playing dudes against these openers. It's tough when you only get to see the same one guy like once, maybe twice in a lineup, and you're just rotating through different arms every at bat. It's really tough to get into a groove. With that said, shortstop, what you like?
Unfortunately, Tim Anderson is the chalkiest playing the entire slate, and he's not going to play because of rain. So that's kind of a damper on our parade. Now we got to move down. Jonathan VR is interesting against Boston. He doesn't have great numbers against Erod, but for some reason he just does good in bad spots. I don't think Erod's a great spot for him, being a switch hitter, turning him around. But somebody could look at Mondesi and all in on. He's him and Whit Merrifield at the top of that lineup. I love Trevor Story. You can't not think about every time he comes against a lefty, but 1 for 6 career with 3 Ks against Pomeranz. So buy into that if you like. Love Carlos Correa. Absolute monster game the other night against New York. He hit a double and a homer, and he's driving the ball to all parts of the field. So he looks to be back. Tatis Jr. at 4,200 hasn't really got cranking, but one of the kids that you kind of want to throw in just because he's fun to watch as a fantasy aspect. Love the Simeon call. One guy we should probably mention is Ahmed Rosario. He had a huge game last night, and he's got a few hits in a couple games going forward here, and he's 3,900. The problem with him is he's either hitting first or ninth, so you got to figure out what night you get him.
Right.
And lastly, my guy that I was hoping you were going to miss was Freddie Galvis. He's hitting 400. He's on a 6-game hitting streak. I don't even care about the starter thing because I think Stanek is the best guy they got in that Rays team. And once they get past Stanek, he's only at 1 inning anyway. So Freddie Galvis is like incredible value, 3,600 for a guy that's hitting 400, and he's doing it all: extra base, homer. So decently tough position to spend down on tonight at short, but I think you could really get a lot of points if you pick right. A lot of good matchups. Like you said, Beckham, Simeon. Can't help but mention Gene Segura. I love Alcantara, but Segura steals bases, which really boosts his value. He has none this year, so he's either banged up or he's just waiting till the weather gets better so he doesn't pull something. But I think he still could get 20 steals this year and really get that Philly lineup jump started.
All right, I like that. Absolutely. A lot of value. Shortstop used to be somewhere where you kind of spent low, and now there's a lot of studs at shortstop position. Would you like to move on to outfield?
Yes, I do.
All right. Always a lot with outfield. I'm going to start off with a couple names at the top. I do have a couple lower end guys that I really like. Let's see. Starting off, not huge on the top of this list. I don't know if I want to spend up on any of these guys. The first one I do like Judge, but I'm not feeling good about Rain. I've said it like 5 times. So JD Martinez versus Hess. I just really like that matchup. I think he has like 2 homers against him.
Yeah. Before you move on, I just want to step back into what I said earlier about Hess. The Red Sox crush Hess. I've been doing a little bit of research as we go, and JD is 2 for 2 with 2 homers. Benny's 2 for 5 with 2 homers, and Devers has got a homer. So before we go any further, I didn't want to step on you there, but the Red Sox crush Hess, and it's going to be a really good spot tonight for them to get jump started. So anybody from the Red Sox is a decent play if you can get them at cheap sal.
I like that. I don't like the bottom of that lineup right now. Even JBJ, all them just. Bleh.
Yeah, but if they're going to get jump started, they got a good history against Hess.
Absolutely. Who else? Do we keep going back to the well on Chris Davis, or do we give him a game or 2 off?
No, Chris Davis is going bridge again tonight. There's no question in my mind.
Going bridge again. Okay.
4,900 is kind of steep, but he's returning 30 plus value a night with the 2 homers. I don't think he hits 2 tonight, but
if he does, I wonder, has it ever happened in baseball? 3 straight games, 2 plus.
I don't know. We'll have to ask our stat guy.
That's you.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Conforto for 4,700. He's been playing great in that New York lineup. I always loved Domingo Santana. He bats second in that super hot Seattle lineup. I wish he had a little more. He does have 4 homers. He just hasn't done it in a while.
He's going back home, though. They've been on the road for a few weeks.
Okay, so that's good. Really like Acuna Jr. for 4,600 against Wheeler. Like I said, the Braves just knocked the socks off him. I'd love to do a mini little Acuna Freddie Freeman stack right there. Let's see. I always, if you want to take a shot on Peterson, I always like that. Bats lead off for that Dodgers team, and if he hits one, that means he's just locked in. Down here, George Springer, can never go wrong with George Springer. Can do a little bit of everything. Does strike out a lot. He's the kind of guy that like goes 1 for 4, but it's usually a home run. And he always seems to find a way on.
Some way he always gets 10 points, sadly enough. Probably he could have 30 if he actually was like trying, realistically.
Oh yeah. One other guy, two other guys actually a little lower end. 4,200 Sin-Soo Choo. He's 6 for 17 in his career. That's a 353 average. And one guy that I really like that I'm plugging into my lineup today, I think he's going to just play great. He's only 4,000, which is cheap for the outfield. And that's Jake Marisnick. He's like batting 429 as a home run against LeBlanc. They always seem to face him against lefties, so I'm all in on Marisnick for 4,000.
Yeah, I was doing some scrolling as you were going on there, and I just found so many plays that I absolutely love. So instead of doing the stat guy thing, I'm just going to rattle off names. Start with JD Martinez. Obviously, we're all in on the Red Sox, but Joey Gallo at 4,900 has been in an absolute slump. But he's going back home to Texas against Mike Fiers, who throws a hard fastball, not a hard fastball, but a straight fastball. He could really jump the yard on. Tonight would be a good Gallo night. Austin Meadows has been hot against Thornton. He's up in Toronto tonight. I love the Conforto call. He's been crushing. Santana crush. Mancini got the double eligibility crush. Benintendi, great numbers against Hess. Acuna. I mean, I'm going to keep going down the list. Tommy Pham at 4,500 has been very, very hot too. Mitch Haniger, another name that we don't really talk about a lot, but he's got home runs in back-to-back games. No, sorry, he had a double and triple last night, home run the other day. So he's back home in Seattle against Wade Miley. Love the Jock Peterson call. He's a guy that can jump the yard twice, especially being that late game, get you the late value. As we go down, you get Whit Merrifield, double eligibility. You got Lorenzo Cain against Julio Urias, batting 350. He's got multiple hits in 6 out of the last 7, so he's crushing. He's only 4,300. Same with Springer, 4,300. Interestingly enough, I kind of like Kevin Kiermaier tonight. I don't know why, but 4,200. He's just due to get really hot. I know I'm kind of rambling here, but you also got guys like Sin-Soo Choo, another great call, 4,200. My guy that I like a lot tonight is David Peralta, 4,100. He's got Paddock tonight. He's batting, 360 something to start the year here. Yeah, 367. Never faced Paddock, but he's a great chance. Then you got his teammate Gerard Dyson, Ketel Marte, all those guys at 4,100. Ryan Braun at 41. He's got Julio Urias. He's 4 for 7 against Urias. I mean, you just got a shot at a lot of value. Stephen Piscotty against Smiley at 4,100. This is a really, really good night to balance outfield and pay up for some studs. You got Markakis, 3,900. And we want to pick on Wheeler for sure tonight, but Markakis is one of those guys that doesn't have great numbers. He's 2 for 5 against Wheeler, so yeah, we can jump right there. Surprisingly enough, AJ Pollock is still 3,900. I don't know what's going on with him. He's hitting 259, but anybody that hits in the middle of the Dodgers lineup, you can take a shot on. And rounding it out, there was one more guy that I'm looking for, but I can't find. If you want to take it back, you're more than welcome. We got Granderson who's hitting $160, but he has great numbers against Arrieta. 11 for 37, 3 homers, a triple, 2 doubles.
I feel like I'm pretty good on my outfielders. It's just about hitting the right guys, and that's half the freaking battle.
I'm just scrolling through one more time here because I'm looking for one more name, and I just want to see what his price is. You can keep going if you got more content.
No, dude, that's everything I have on outfield. If you find him, go right ahead. While he's doing that, guys, just remember to check us out on Twitter at Budget Baller DFS. We're going to get that going a little bit more. We're trying to take the next step into blowing this up. Not even blowing it up. We just want to reach out to you guys more, get more content out there. But things are looking good so far.
Okay. I'm good. I couldn't find what I needed. I was looking for Billy Hamilton. I forgot he ran into the wall and sprained his MCL, so he would have been a
Oh,
nice
so he
plug and
can't
play.
play.
So yeah, Hamilton's done. He's going to be out for a little while. He's got a sprained MCL. Terrence Gore is the guy that they're going to plug him in, and if he gets on, he's one of the fastest guys in the league. But he really isn't very good at hitting the ball or anything. He's just very fast. He's a good athlete. But that's going to take us to the end of the positional picks. Jimmy, we're going to jump right into it. Give me your 20+ point pitcher.
I'm sticking with my dog, Trent Thornton.
Okay, Trent Thornton. Interesting enough.
I took him last time, and he gave me 19.8 against Cleveland, and pitched really well.
You're right on, right where you need to be. I guess I've been kind of pushing the slate on this guy and talking about him. So give me Sandy Alcantara from Miami. I think Philly is just an interesting team. Great team, and they're going to be deep into the playoffs. I think, or they're going to be playing September baseball. But early, they got to travel down to Miami tonight. And Sandy Alcantara, big arm, big kid. If he can rack up, 5, 6, 7, 8 Ks, he's going to get to that 20 plateau. All right, Jimmy, who's the ultimate stack? I know there's a lot of junky pitchers tonight, but if you're singling out one guy that you really want to just beat on tonight, tell me who it is.
I want to beat down on Zach Wheeler.
Yeah, I like that one. Atlanta bats against Wheeler. Scrolling through, looking at my beatdown, I don't think you can go wrong with stacking a few Oakland guys against Smiley. Oakland's been pretty warm, and they got a lot of right-handed bats that hit lefties well. They got Chapman, Simeon, Piscotty, Chris Davis. So that might be a spot where I try to take a shot on the Oakland stack tonight. Okay, Jimmy, give me the 2-hit guy tonight. I know you had some trouble with the 3 the other day, so we'll go with the who's getting 2 tonight. 2 hits.
My 2-hit guy today. Sticking right with where you say, I'm going back to the well, Matt Chapman.
Matt Chapman, yeah, we're pretty big on Oakland guys today, I would have to say.
I think Chapman's going to have 2 hits, at least 2 hits.
I'm gonna go a little bit off the train of thinking that I normally have, and Whit Merrifield had that streak of 31, but I think this is a game where he bounces back and really smashes, and he's just comfortable now. I mean, he had the streak, the streak's over, and like I said, I don't think he was stressed during the streak, but I think tonight's a night where he can get back to just playing baseball, and I could
Right.
see almost one of those classic 4-for-4 games out of Merrifield against Carrasco. So give me Whit for 2 tonight.
Okay.
All right, this is where your money's made. This is where the Twitter's jumped out at. This is where if anyone wants to know who's hitting a homer tonight, Jimmy J is going to give you the content. Jimmy, what do you got? 1 home run.
Oh, Freddie Freeman's going Yaya. I
Love
was
it.
like ready on that. Freddie Freeman, dude, he just
We're all in.
owns it. Like, there's no way Freddie Freeman does not go yard tonight.
I really like that call a lot. Um,
I banged the Vogelbach, banged the Chris Davis one. Like,
yep, you've been hot on those. My guy's Carlos Correa. The way he hit the other night, I know they're going to the road. Seattle's a bigger ballpark, but the ball jumps there. Seattle's hit a lot of homers to start the year, and Carlos Correa at 4,300. I think he's just gonna smash Wade LeBlanc tonight
right.
with a big fly.
I like it a lot. I'm in love with my lineup already. Like,
Great slate, hitting wise. Pitchers are a little tough, but if you
your
can
pitching
build,
is brutal. Like, I swear last year, man, like everyone was hitting like 50 points combined minimum on their pitchers if you were catching. And this year it's like maybe I can get 30 combined.
yeah, I've noticed that as well. It looks like you can almost balance 10 per position, and then you'll have the couple guys that get you 20 to 30, and your pitchers are only like 15 to 15 a pop. So
Like yesterday, what was it, a 5-game slate yesterday?
yep,
Like, I want to say like first place, he only scored 166, and well, actually no, he got lucky as heck, dude. He hit Quintana and Samardzija, who each gave him over 30. But that's what I'm talking about. Like I never would have picked Jose Quintana.
yeah, no, he had
Or
a lot.
Samardzija. Colorado, I literally said on the pod, I was like, Samardzija gets absolutely killed by the Rockies. Like,
Yeah, he shut him down. He looked
so that's
good.
what I'm talking about, man. It's unreal the crapshoot with pitchers. You just never know on any given day whether they're home or away if they're gonna pop. It's really annoying, actually.
That's why we're here, though. We got to provide that content for the people.
You're right. Anything else you got left?
Take us out of here, Jimmy.
Hey, it's crappy weather in North Carolina today, so I'm gonna be chilling, watching baseball all day. Hope you guys have a great night. We're gonna bang tonight. This unreal lineups today, man. The Astros and the Braves. I'm all in on today. Dagger, any final word?
Give me some Oakland guys. Give me those righties. Let me load up some fantasy points tonight, baby. Let's get it.
That's what I'm talking about. We will
Follow.
see you guys. Do we have one tomorrow or not?
We need the likes and subscribes, boys. That's what we need. That's what we're looking for. Get that like, get that subscribe, get us to follow on Twitter. We're gonna start producing content day in and day out. We just need we need a following committee, a crew, a family. That's all we need. For Jimmy J, we are out of here.